got the northern lights, lights. Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nyemade, and welcome to another episode of Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo, because I am bold, Black, and addicted to Bravo. You may know me on social media as That African Butterfly, and I'm so excited to be joined by some of my fellow Bravoholics. Some of them are on the Instagram and on the YouTube with their blogs and their videos, and then some of them are just fun viewers, but we love to have a great mix. So before we start and get deep into our discussion about Married to Medicine, I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, and I'm just going to, we all are in different order on different screens, so I'll just pick a person and then you introduce yourself and pick another person. So I'll start with Elle.
Hi, I'm Elle. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Housewives and Chit Chat, or on Twitter at Housewives and CC. And I'm going, Mark, you're next.
Oh, well, hello. I am Mark. I'm from the Pink Pop Box on the Instagram. I am very rarely on the Twitter because I don't like it. And I have no videos per se other than the obnoxious ones I post. And I'm on to the next person.
You have to pick that person.
Yes,
I can't pick anybody.
We'll go with Lauren.
There we go.
Hey you guys, I'm Lauren. I am a super fan. I don't really have a, like a Bravo page, but I am a super fan and a super attender. And if you'd love my takes, please find me on TikTok on Lauren_Isa_magic. And Kesh, after you.
Hi, I'm Keisha. I am a Bravoholic. Hi, Keisha. That's why I feel like I'm needs to be said next.
Hi, Keisha.
Right. I love Bravo. I actually had a brain surgery, so I've been rewatching a lot of things and such, and so I'm really into it more than I was before. I watch most franchises from the beginning. I don't really have any content that's Bravo related, but I am on Instagram. I'm a photographer, so if you want to follow me at Chocolate Kesh, Kesh, you can follow me there. Oh, Kristen.
Hi guys, I'm Kristen, better known on Instagram as Philly Diva. I do reality, kind of my take on reality, how I see it, how I spin it. I enjoy Bravo. I enjoy BET OWN. It's really just kind of how I see their reality TV from my point of view. Looking into expanding my brand. I love my sister Elle because she's definitely amazing at that and helping me with that. So look for more of the Philly Diva coming soon near you.
Yay.
Yes. Now I can't see because I'm
driving.
multitasking and driving. So boom, it's off to you.
We'll do Aaron.
Hello, guys. I am Aaron, one half of Bravo Wild Black, soon to be Bravo We're Black. And you can find me at Aaron Marcellus _ or at Bravo Wild Black. And I'm gonna give it to Reida.
Reida.
Hi, everybody. I'm Reida. I am just a super fan, but I am on Instagram. I follow tons of Bravo fan accounts. Love it. Been watching from the beginning. You can find me at RLW_life. But again, no content, only a follow.
Nice. Well, thank you all so much for joining. I am very excited. I love doing these group get-togethers because it's fun to chat about. And today we are talking about Married to Medicine, which in my opinion is like the best show on Bravo. And the reason why I say that is because they bring all of the drama of Housewives, but they're so funny. Like I find myself laughing each episode. And even when they don't get along, they're still hilarious. Like they'll stop in the middle of fighting to laugh, which I just love. So they actually they don't, because some Housewives, their drama is so much, it stresses me out watching it, but I don't feel stressed watching them, which I love. That's how I like my TV drama. All right, so, no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's just funny that you say that because I feel like a Jehovah's Witness because I'm always like, Have you watched this yet? You should. It's underrated. Watch it. Please don't celebrate it.
I'm
Yeah, no,
definitely a
accurate.
Married to Med pusher. Like, oh, you haven't seen it? Start from the beginning. Oh.
Coming from an ex cult member, aka ex Jeide member, I would recommend and sell it like I was doing field service knock to knock on the Married to Medicine. It is incredible television.
Yeah, I'd agree. So this season was a good season as always. One of the things that really, so I guess it kicked off. Oh, Stephanie's joining us. Hey, Stephanie. Oh,
Hi, Stephanie.
Her audio is connecting, so she'll be with us in a minute. But Stephanie for Mocha Minutes will be joining us.
And that's a podcast and on her TikTok and
Yeah,
I believe on her Insta.
we'll do her
And I'm not a
introductions.
stalker.
No, we'll do it. What was that one? Where can we find Stephanie?
You work on the PR team.
Right? Look. We're her unofficial PR team. If you need to find Stephanie of Mocha Minutes, you can find her on Instagram or her podcast.
Oh, hello. Good
Hey, girl.
afternoon. Come on,
Hey.
PR team. Come on, PR team.
Can
Okay,
you
I'm not gonna-
can you come to video even if we can't see you?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Oh, and we can see you.
Hello.
There you are.
It's-
Welcome.
I need to make my light red so I can sing red light
District?
special.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm misbehaving on a Sunday.
We're
How are
acting
y'all
like the
doing?
doctors in Vegas right now.
Are they? We're good. We just got done with introductions. So if you want to introduce yourself, then we'll get right into talking about the show.
Well, hello, I'm Stephanie, host of the Mocha Minutes. I enjoy long walks on the beach. Now recreational use of marijuana in Maryland. I also enjoy a nice cocktail, French 75, pineapple mojito. And I'm just so excited to talk about these ladies who do the medicine and then their husbands and wives. Because congratulations to Monty for mixing with Monty. She is married to medicine, my loves, because she married her wife, Monty.
Yay, Monty, congratulations.
She looked gorgeous.
Yay.
She looked
They
incredible.
looked great.
That dress was so beautiful. I loved her dress. All right. Well, speaking
tier.
of Married to Medicine, let's talk about this season. So it kicked off, I guess, with the housewarming for, I always say her name wrong, Nyla?
Anila.
Anila.
Neela. How did you feel about that? I forgot about it, so that's how I felt about it.
That's par for the course.
It is.
Ooh.
Was
yeah,
this a costume event?
Yes,
No,
and the fact
that's
that
the-
Contessa
that
didn't
is-
show up.
Then
But
I
this
don't
is just
remember
where
it.
the horse was, and they walked the horse through the house for good luck. Her mom came in, the horse pooped in the house. She had
What?
the girl. Yes.
Yes.
Not
Why am I
that
getting,
the
like,
animal was more memorable than the
like
party.
16 episodes. Like,
How was
But
it
no,
a short and long
obviously,
season at the
next.
same time? Because I'm like, wait, when did the
I
horse
felt
poop
like
on the
it.
floor?
Let's get into the real juice of it. So this intervention. First, I want to get everybody's opinion on how they feel about Heavenly and her social media chatter, because especially with the Contessa thing, because Contessa is very upset about the things that were said, but it's also things that she said. So how do we feel about, let's start there. How do you feel about the Contessa versus Heavenly thing?
I feel
Anyone
that
first?
Contessa was
Didn't
really
lie.
embarrassed.
All right.
Heavenly didn't tell no lies. She just said what, she gave her live opinion on the show that we were all watching, and we were all feeling the same way. Now, Contessa did get the most heat for it, and she's probably hurt because out of all of them, the two of them were closest. But you're more embarrassed because she read your husband down to the ground for filth.
Thank you. That's what I said.
And
It was just pride. It was
yeah,
pride.
like it's her pride, and now your
But can I
pride is
say-
making you look real foolish.
I feel, I really completely agree on that. And I feel as if, is Heavenly in the wrong? Was she in the wrong? Perhaps, or it's true. These are facts. But I also feel like if you're my friend, if you could maybe not
That
And
part.
then if you are,
Yeah.
could you be just a little less animated about it? Like, just, I'm not asking.
You ain't got to
I'm not
throw so
asking
much
for the
sauce on
world.
it.
That's where Heavenly messed up to me. At the point in which Contessa was like, "Hey, stop," and you're at the point where you're calling this friend your sister, it should have been like, "Okay, sis, I'm not talking about it anymore." But she never said anything wrong. She never even dived into personal stuff. Heavenly covered exactly what we saw on TV, and I think with Heavenly traveling with them and actually knowing them, that like kind of showed how big she was. But again, Contessa said stop, and so it should have stopped there. But also, why didn't anybody inside of this friend group let Contessa know, like, Heavenly ain't nobody's friend?
Because they're scared of her. They're scared of Heavenly because Heavenly's
They
got
are
a
not
temper.
scared of
I
Heavenly.
don't think that's
They
what
are
it is. I
not.
think
No,
it's
they're
that-
not scared of
afraid of
Heavenly.
her.
They're scared of Dr. Jackie.
You
They're
think that's
scared
what
of
it
Dr.
is?
Jackie.
I think
And
that's
Dr.
Heavenly
wait.
and Dr. Jackie.
Okay, so
Heavenly's
really
got a
quick,
nasty little
with
temper.
this?
Simone got a bad temper too, but
so really quick,
I-
before we
I'm
go
not-
on,
Nobody is afraid of Dr. Jackie.
no, I'd be more afraid of Simone when she gets going.
Mm-hmm.
so really quick before we go on, Shanea, hi, thanks for joining
Hi,
us.
everyone. Sorry, I'm
Yes,
so animated
hello.
about this. Tell me.
No, I
need
love
to
it. Can
catch up.
you just introduce yourself? We just got done with introduction, so you haven't missed much.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
just introduce yourself, and then you can tell your thoughts on the Jackie Heavenly, or no, the quad,
Contessa.
no,
Heavenly Contessa.
Heavenly
Yeah.
YouTube. Hi, everyone. I'm Sneha. I have a podcast and Instagram account called Project Mindy, where I recap Mindy Kaling's shows and
Oh,
interview South Asians in pop culture. Married to Medicine is my favorite show on Bravo. And I feel like, I don't know if there's any other South Asians on this video, but I feel like on behalf of my community, I need to apologize for Anila. We do not claim her. So sorry she brought down
Damn.
so much.
Okay. I appreciate that
Is
apology.
bad.
Something.
We really, Mel says she does not represent us.
She's like, she does not speak for
She
us.
goes, that is not us. No,
You do
sis.
not represent us, Caitlin. She said no.
And I
not
love
her.
your Project Mindy podcast because I freaking I stand the Mindy Project. Like I could really dissect every single episode with you. Like
Thank you so
and
much.
everything else that
Yay!
she does, including Champions, because like where is the second season?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. I have to
Lord.
get
Good.
So can I say this about the Contessa versus Heavenly thing?
Sure.
Here's the problem with Heavenly. Heavenly is very honest. She's honest to a fault. She also has no problem being messy. This is the other problem. Heavenly has flat out said that she does not watch their episodes when she's recapping. That means she doesn't know what's going to be on the episode. So it's like she has flat out said that I don't watch these episodes. I'm like, how you recapping a show that you ain't watching? It's like, girl, what you doing? But I think the other problem is that Heavenly said the clip that they keep showing is, do I think Scott's abusive? Yes, emotionally. She has never said that to Contessa. That's the issue. You have that opinion, and a lot of people probably felt that. Hence why some random person on that YouTube live asked you. You have never said that to Contessa's face, and you damn sure didn't say it to Scott. So why are you acting like Contessa's somehow completely out of line? You have never called that man abusive to her. You have never said that to Scott. So why are you acting like she's so far left field? She's not. Let's be very clear. Contessa, you should have handled her the way that Dr. Jackie said. Let me explain one thing to you. Stop fucking talking about Curtis. She don't talk about Curtis anymore because Jackie got in her face. Jackie
did.
dug in her ass. And it's
But
like,
I think she did say something. If you go back and you look at last season's reunion and you look at the
she
advice
didn't say that he was abusive. She flat out said she
maybe
never
not
said that.
in so many words, but I don't think that her stance on the way she answered her question, I don't think that stance was unknown to Contessa, because I believe based on what she said very cryptically at the last reunion and then what Contessa said they said when she said when they were on vacation, I think
Yup.
Dr. Heavenly flat down told her, you need to leave that man. He's not making
In
you
her
look
interview
good.
with Funky, she said that Heavenly never said that about him. She flat out said it. Contessa said she's never said to me that
Contessa
she
said
thought
that?
Scott. Yes,
Yeah.
Contessa is the one who
She might
said
not have said it in
Heavenly-
those words, but I think
but-
she told her something to the
I don't think she did though, because the thing about it is, you were still sitting around Scott. You think this man is abusive, and you still in his presence?
Well,
It's like
I think that she meant like
Yeah,
abusive, and that's why she's like, emotionally or whatever. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say, do you guys mind when you're not on, can we mute? Because I don't know if anyone else is getting it. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Like I'm hearing a lot of feedback in between. But yeah, I don't know if she meant like abusive, but I do think that just throwing out that word is such a huge allegation that you just have to be careful either way. And I think it was Lauren who said that, like, as a friend, having your friend say those things about it is even harsher because that friend also has like the back knowledge. And I would want my friend to have my back in public. Like, forget what we talk about in private, in public, have my back. Even if I said those things, you still say I'm not
right,
talking.
because Heavenly's insinuation, because she was so close with Contessa, you have to
It
think
gives
like,
it legs.
well, is he? You know what I mean?
That gives more credo to it, because the thing about it is that like every stranger is like, Contessa don't care what the fans think. It hits different when it's your friend. That was like Heavenly didn't understand. It's like, this sounds very different because you actually are my friends and you flat out said you don't watch the episode. Because even when she's doing the recap, she's inserting stuff that happened during the filming that nobody saw on the screen. So it's like, Heavenly, I hear you. It's like, it's like yours, it's your opinion and it's valid. But I'm pretty sure, like, and also she flat out said, you didn't say, I think Scott is mentally and emotionally abusive. She didn't say that to her.
Definitely said a lot.
She did,
a lot last
but it's like,
so let's
lot last season.
But that's the thing. It's like, it's her situation. So it's like, if it, like, one, Simone dogged her husband out on camera. Nobody's coming to her like, oh, well, I can say that because one, Simona dug in their ass. It's like, yeah, he's my fucking husband. I can say what the fuck I want about my husband. You
but
can't.
Doesn't part of you think maybe Contessa did want to leave and then she changed her mind? And so now this is the, we're in love.
I think
we're fighting for my man.
Heavy
on that.
So what I want to do actually is talk about that, and also just talk about the fact that Contessa went to doing a intervention instead of having a private conversation. So like, Reida, what do you think about that? Like the intervention of it all?
I mean, that was for Heavenly, like, because it's Heavenly, that was like a mistake without a doubt. Like, Heavenly does not do group confrontation. Like, that is never going to work with her. She, as much as she will put anybody else on the spot, if you do that to her, like in that manner, it's not going to work out for you, as we saw. Like, and I don't know if she was going through her mom past, like all of that with her mom being sick at the same time. I just felt like I knew, and Contessa wasn't coming from like a real place, in my opinion, with that intervention. That
Not
was,
at all.
That was some mess, and I think she meant for it to be some mess. So like, that's the problem. Like, it was too many things trying to be doing to get a resolution that you were never going to get.
I
agree.
Meant for it to be embarrassing because she felt embarrassed. I think it was meant to kind of demonize her, hurt her, and turn everybody against Heavenly, because Toya's already, kind of on the fence. She really don't like Heavenly, but she'll work with Heavenly. Her and Quiet kind of have an acceptance of who they are. So they'll throw those jabs back and forth, and it may sting, and they'll talk it through, but they'll talk it through. So I think in whole, what she really wanted to do was fire the girls up and turn everybody against Heavenly, and it didn't work in her favor. Now she got a moment, but the moment did not work in her favor. Like, it did not turn all of us against Heavenly. I don't want to say she tried to pull a Sprinter van, but
right.
She tried for a lot of moments
and then
this season.
Keisha
really did.
Right.
With hair and makeup and clothes as well, but
I mean, her husband came out with a
Giselle.
song and sang it on the reunion. I think they're really trying for moments. I think the Scotts are really hoping for screen time. And that's
Keisha, what were your thoughts on it?
I'm indifferent because sometimes if you're doing the most, because my thing is like, Heavenly, why did you do that? If I'm going through something and even though if I shared it, why would you repeat it? So you can make more trouble out of it and bring more attention to it. But then Contessa fought fire with fire and she got her ass lit and everyone was just trapped inside and it was a big chaotic moment. And it's like, did you really think that was gonna work out? Do you think she was gonna get it? Like, as soon as she saw it, she did her witch laugh. So like, did you really think that she was going to take it in? So I think that was a little bit of, oh, this would be great for screen time. And also, let me light her ass up because I'm trying to work on this and I have kids and I want to make this right. And you're embarrassing me and you're my friend and you hurt me. So as adults, that's some shit I would have done in middle school and high school and ate it up. But as two women in the medical field, it was kind of disappointing, but it's also reality TV, so I ate it up as well. But in real life, I would be heated if a friend did that. Like I had a friend who talked shit about me in my business one time, and I don't talk to her anymore because of that. That is my life. You don't fuck with my life. I live it.
I agree. I think it took it like too far for the situation. Like you said, as adults, it was a bit much.
But I don't know. Didn't Contessa try to run up on her at the reunion? Are we adults here? Are we professionals? Are we missing that on episode 1 of the reunion? The yelling and the body yada yada in front of the trailer? Because again, Contessa, are we looking for moments? Or are you really feeling this way? Because God, conveniently, those moments that
it looks like she's looking for moments
on film seem to be.
I just feel like
fighter.
I feel like Contessa was on her way out the door. And I feel like Contessa consulted a divorce lawyer and they got real about the fact that they own a practice together. They got 50 loving kids. They got a house, and it just got messy to get a divorce in real life, no matter what the reality checks say. So they had to find a way to reverse that really back in. So I think that's happening. Then I think that Contessa was out of her weight class. Like, she tried to fight a fight and that wasn't it. I feel like she tried to give Heavenly play stupid games, win stupid prizes energy. You do it in public, I'm gonna do it in public, which again, if we're playing the game, I respect that. But then what happened was Contessa was really in her soul looking for an answer. So she came to this game like, oh, we gonna play like this. And Heavenly had her, okay, let's play reality TV hat on. And then Contessa got her feelings hurt because why aren't you acknowledging my feelings? Well, are we talking about feelings or are we filming a show? Because them are two different areas. And I think that that's what happened. But there's like Keisha said, there's no way that you can get me to believe as a grown person in real life, you thought going about it this way was going to yield you results.
I agree.
He was trying to give her a taste of her medicine.
So another incident that I wanted to talk about, just moving on because there's so much to cover. I know you said that you do not claim these people as yours, but I wanted to talk about Anila and the costume party. Like, what do you feel about their costume? And then more importantly, what do you feel about their lack of acknowledgement or apology? Like, to this day, to the reunion, they still think it's fine what they did. What do you think?
Wait, am I muted?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, my apologies if I'm not. I'm on my phone. It's a little confusing. I don't want to cause interruption. But so many feelings on this. The problem with both of them is they think they're cute and they're not. And I know Anila is from Savannah, I believe, and I think she does have somewhat of a Southern accent, but she has like dialed up the black scent this season. It was so inappropriate when Kieran was saying certain phrases that he's not a part of the community, like just don't do that. And it's also, I just feel like they don't, okay, so you saw like at their party, like they don't mix with Black people. Like that's not their friend group and they don't know these people like that. So to poke at an issue they know is so sensitive, if they've watched the show, which with the moving and there's so much chatter online about Toya and Eugene and how it's affecting their marriage and stuff. It's just too sensitive of a topic. And even if it wasn't, I don't even really get it. Like they're movers. Like, I don't even think it was fun. Like, it's not the roach thing. It just wasn't even funny. And then second of all, when someone says, like, Eugene was pissed at the party and at the axe throwing thing. And like, I feel like it's just common human decency to be like, my bad. I thought something was funny. It offended you. It offended your family. So I apologize. And I don't understand why he can't do that, because it doesn't seem like he is like a big fame whore, but I don't know. I could be misreading that. I'm still so confused why he can't apologize.
Yeah, I
Because
think
Anila's not getting
weird to
paid
me,
from
too.
blogging, and they need the Real House or the Married to Medicine check.
That
also,
too.
she
Aaron, what
stop
are your
with the
thoughts on that whole
blogging.
situation?
Oh, I feel that that wasn't normal for him to react like that. I don't even feel like they're honestly those type of people. I think maybe he's worried about Anila's spot on Married to Medicine, so that's why he feels like he has to act out a character. But it was really weird because usually he seems to be a decent human being, and I would expect him to sympathize with his friend, you know.
Yeah, I would have expected it to be like her thinking it's funny and him being like,
Yeah.
By the way, side note, and then I want to get Mark's opinion, but side note, does anyone else like clock that he thinks his wife is really stupid, but like he thinks it's cute? Like there are so many moments where you can tell he thinks she is an idiot, but like he finds it endearing, so he likes it, but he does not think she has any sense at all.
He married her because she's pretty. I'm
She
just
is very
saying.
pretty. Yeah.
Do we really want to go there?
I do think she is pretty, but
I heard allegedly like that, you know, maybe that it was a trap, like Heavenly, and that's why they be beefing the way they do, because they be having so much in common. But this is allegedly. This is not for fact, because I don't know this for real. I'm not in anybody's uterus, and I don't spit that information like Dr. Jackie do. I'm just saying this is my opinion of alleged rumors.
Yeah,
I allegedly stand with you in that alleged rumor.
All right, Mark.
Alleged. Okay, good. Oh, you're on mute, Mark.
Oh, Mark. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh,
you're
There I go. Am I back?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I think Anila's husband is quite a snob. I think thinks he's above it all, and that when he makes a joke, you should laugh. And I think that if you look at all of them together, these two, for some reason, think they're better than all these other people because they think they've got all this insane wealth. And they think that they're all better than all these other people because they have this grand house. And they can say whatever they want, and it's supposed to be received in the manner in which it was intended. Well, you know what? It wasn't. And he didn't have it in his mental capacity to understand that his joke did not land, and it did not register that it hurt. And I'm going to tell you straight up right now, had this been any other friend group on any other franchise, honey, they would have plotted the takedown and they would be off the show at the end of this year. Had this been any other people, but these are good people that he made fun of and didn't have it in his soul to say, I'm sorry. And that was wrong.
It's true.
And I'm going to sit on that and stay on that because I do not like them now because of that.
I
don't
agree.
like him for a lot of
Kristen.
reasons. But
Oh, Kristen.
yes, I don't like him for a lot of reasons, but you know, that's one of them. And the thing is, I don't want to say, I think last year was Anila's first season, right?
Yeah.
And it was, you know, kind of fun getting to know her and the relationship between her and Toya. But that breakdown and this weird blossoming between the friendship between her and Quad, none of it is just sitting right with me. So I am now looking, because of that, I now look at everything else she does with a side eye. And the fact that her and her husband thought it was okay to kind of make fun of these people who moved and didn't tell you and then you were offended. Like you were offended that we didn't tell. I don't have to tell you when we moved. Yes, it would have been nice. It would have been a courtesy. But no, I'm sorry. No, I don't have to tell you when I'm moving. Like the audacity that just because we're neighbors, when I make moves with my family, that guarantees you permission into my life. As far as I'm concerned, and it may have been they were just coworkers. Like that is always a thing.
I definitely agree with you on the
Quad are business partners.
Yeah, like it just
so it's interesting that you mentioned that, Lauren, because I was actually going to say, like, for me, that was my break off with Anila was when she ran to Quad after she had her problems with Toya. Because for me, it's like, it's one thing if you beef with someone, but to immediately go with the person you know doesn't like that person, like it's very calculated. Because if she really was friends with Toya and they had a beef, everyone knows Simone is the person you go to. Simone can talk to Toya rationally. Simone will still be on Toya's side and try to heal stuff. But you go to the one person who doesn't like her and that's who you try to link up with. Like, so to me, that's when I was like, she's just calculated and it is what it is.
But take me back to them being business partners with Dr. Greg's alimony money. Run me back that. Because like, why are we not calling the thing a thing? Everybody
Lauren,
what happened? The show and be like, oh my God, where did she get her money from? She gets it from alimony.
Oh, answer.
I gotta look. I don't know what it is. It's something that like a housewife or a Bravo celebrity would be doing. It's like hair or skin or something, but they're doing it together. That's why they beefed on stage at the reunion. And then she comes backstage and she's like, I feel really uncomfortable about what's happening now.
She can't
because
afford
in
to
what
beef with
day,
Quad.
right? In what day would Quad be like, well, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because Quad is very self-righteous, if anything. I mean, her monologues. I mean, I love me some Quad, but good
that
God.
scene with her though, when she was talking and they did like 1 hour later, I watched that repeatedly. It was so
I was talking her shit.
So I do want to talk about though, like when we talk about Anila and the Quad of it all, like Stephanie, I'm going to start with you. When we had the housewarming party for Quad, we saw Anila bring someone, allegedly, what did she say at the reunion? She just gave her a ride, but she brought someone who then kicked off those rumors about Toya. So, is Stephanie still there? Okay, we'll get back to Stephanie.
No, I'm here. I'm on mute.
Okay. Who kicked off those rumors about Toya? Like, what do you feel about how that went down? Like, do you think she had more of a hand in it than she's saying?
Yeah, because Anila's full of shit. Let's be very clear. When it comes to the joke of it all with Kieran and her, it's like, that's not going to be my beef with you, sweetheart. It's going to be me. It's going to be you acting like you are cool enough with Toya to do this, but also act like you are not, you have no hand in this, as if there's not a clip of you literally saying, I need you to bring up this rumor now to Zaina, but you're going to sit on this stage and say, I ain't know nothing. Oh, and this is Quad's fault. I was like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? Ma'am, you were her Uber. However, I'm pretty sure you had a conversation in the Uber. Anila's full of shit. And I'm like, why would you bring this up? Anila acts like she does not do anything. And then when they're like, oh, Anila, let's talk about your part. She goes, well, really, it's Quad. Or really, it's Heavenly. Or I didn't know nothing. And Zaina, I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, Anila, you're full of shit. And I need you to shut the fuck up. It's like, see, that's the thing. As much as I'm like, I like my violence to make sense. If Toya literally had drug her down by her clip-ins and her tape-ins off that stage, I'd have been like, you know what? That makes total sense because Anila is literally playing in that woman's face. And stop trying to like, and the thing about it is, she wants a fall guy. And of course, you're going to use the person who has a thesaurus and a balcony and a home and a nephew and a mama in her house. So she's the perfect fall guy, even though, baby, you got a hand in this. And I know you do.
Anila tries to act like, oh no, I don't know. Y'all understand reality TV. I just thought we were all friends. I was here to hang out. And you're like, okay, bro. Okay.
Well, that's the thing too, like, and I'm going to come back to you, but that's the thing too with them and I forgot who said it, that like, he is very full of himself, her husband, Anila and her husband. It's like, they are those types of people who act like they're like too good for reality TV. Like, oh, this is so beneath me. Like, I'm here, but I'm really above it all. And it's like, no, you're not. Not only are you not above it all, you're extra deep in it with a little bit of not understanding how it works perfectly so we can see through your bullshit. So you're actually the worst of the lot.
The amount mentions that blogging, like, I mean, are we serious? Like, is she successful at it? Like, I don't believe she is. Like, I mean, it's beyond, I'm like, obviously you want to be on
She's
She's
the
allegedly
giving
successful.
Amazon affiliate. That's what she's giving. Amazon affiliate link. And that's what it is.
Even that good?
No, if you check her blog, it has not been updated in, I believe, 2019.
Thank you.
She is trying to say that she's an Instagram influencer, but she thinks that doesn't sound as good as saying blogger. But like, we can all go online and see your presence. Like, why do you keep saying blogging?
This is
So
Why is she pretending like she has a job?
Yeah, I really don't want influencers on Bravo shows. Oh, sorry, what?
No, thank
Absolutely
you.
not.
Say that again, please.
I do not want influencers on Bravo shows. And the reason why is influencers are like, hey guys, this is very unique, but it's not unique. You're doing the exact same thing. You're making yourself set apart, but you're just
unique.
A, B, C.
That's what you are. Sorry.
Become a figure. You're not a real person. I don't want you on my screen. Get off. I want a Sonia Morgan. I want someone who wants to go on the bus and have someone organize her pills, or someone who says, I don't shave my whatever, or who are we? Who are you? Let's talk belly to belly. I want that. I don't want
I want you to
bullshit.
down suckers shaped like private parts in Mexico while screaming, let's whoop it up. Like, if that's not what it's giving, if you're concerned about your image, go home, please. I want you to sit in taxi cab. Does Anila have a job?
Because they are
Is she
doctors.
supposed to have a job?
Well,
She
she
said
said the thing is she's mostly a stay-at-home wife, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's okay to be a stay-at-home mom, like, own it. But the problem is she is very much a social media influencer, and she also has to own that, because obviously, and I don't want this to come across as mom shaming, because I'm not into mom shaming, but clearly, like, spending time with her kids and doing that stuff is not her number one priority. Like, she put it out there. I'm not judging her. She put it out there. And I'm all about the nanny. I always say I'd have
Why
kids
wouldn't
that
she
could have
just
nannies.
call herself a
But, like,
philanthropist and move on?
Right. Like, it's fine. It's just that she can't say, like, oh, I need a nanny to help me do all this stuff, and I also don't do anything else besides take a few pictures. So she has to make it seem like it's bigger than what it is to justify what she does or doesn't do.
I have to say something about that nanny thing, because this has been making me so angry. I remember when the nanny was sharing, hey, I'm gonna be leaving, and she made it all about her. She's like, what am I gonna do? This woman told you she's leaving so she can be with her family. She is older, and you're thinking about yourself. How about be a mother? Like,
not just that, but they got her to come back. They got her to
and she came back.
To come back.
She came back after the robbery that she set up was complete. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not on mute?
Allegedly.
This season was fake. Everything was fake. That is what a lot of people are alleging about Anila. Is that the nanny thing was fake, the robberies are fake, whatever. Everything's fake. Well, the blogging not fake. Whatever. Like,
Are we talking robberies yet, or am I skipping ahead?
Go for it. Jump into the robberies.
Okay, so like, it's just, I live in like a 1,500 square foot dwelling. Okay, I have a security system. Like, are you kidding me with those, like, you know, what are those Ring cameras? And then I have to question, you got robbed. She kept saying they took everything. So how could you get robbed again? What would they even take?
That part, yeah. It's like, what are they robbing? Kristen.
It's giving the chicest Dorit robbery that I've heard in the longest time. Chicest. Just throwing that out there.
It's weird. This is why I say it's weird. Her whole life, her being on the show, everything this season is just weird from what it was last season. I don't know if this is really her now, or if she was, or if she's putting on a show. Like, I don't know. Like, this is not what
Could it be the season 2
Bring Mariah update. Like, what the fuck is this? This is not what I see. This is what happens when they think all different cultures are the same people. You brought this woman in thinking she was going to be another Mariah Huck, and she's not. Give us Mariah Huck then.
Oh, yeah.
me.
Oh,
It's
Bravo
that
makes me sick sometimes.
I'm just so upset that Bravo clearly brought her on just to like rub it in Mariah's face by like having her cultural traditions, but Mariah like publicly said that we filmed stuff and Bravo didn't show it.
Yep.
And I just like that's so petty of Bravo, and I can't remember the production
Is
company.
Mariah not a producer anymore? Because wasn't she a creator and producer?
No.
I think she is done now. They
name only probably for a check, like because the case isn't over yet. Like I think.
Well, she has lifetime EP credits for the duration of the show due to what happened that led to her exit. But it's to my understanding that her deal with signing the lifetime of the show EP deal was that she'll never be cast again. So she'll forever be behind the scenes. But I also heard that Mariah had a hand in casting Anila for the same reason that you mentioned, Kristen, to share that representation. Now, I haven't fact checked that. That's what I heard, secondhand information. But I heard that she wanted to kind of attempt to keep that cultural representation up, which is why we got Anila to replace Mariah.
I love the cultural representation. I love that, and I like that we get more of it. But the blacks of it, the fighting and the it's just she's not quality. That sounded so rude coming out. I'm so sorry.
No, we hear you. We hear you. Erin, what did you think of because at that same party, that same house one? And actually, I'm sorry, Kristen, did I cut you off?
No, Mark, he was talking, but he was on mute, so then he raised his hand.
Oh, there's your hand up, Mark.
Oh, you're still on mute.
Yeah, he's still on mute.
There you go.
Okay, am I off mute now?
Yes.
Okay, so check it out. Okay, I am a fraud investigator. That is my job.
Oh.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you right straight out the gate. Not only was the first break-in suspect, but the second break-in was even more suspect than the first one. And we in the fraud world have a word for that. It's called a check. Okay. And what they want is not only do they want a check from the show, but they want a check from that insurance company to pay for this lifestyle that they can't really afford. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes. Now
I would believe that because she said that everything in that house is paid for by all of these people. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense because, first of all, the only way, even if they're giving you stuff, then your page should be filled with house decor stuff, right? Like if all of the stuff in that house is paid, they're not just giving it to you to be like, oh, it's going to be on screen for 2 seconds. You would have to make posts about it. If she had a post for everything in her house, then I would say, okay, maybe she has all these followers and that's why they're giving to her, but she doesn't even do that. So what would make a company give her all of this furniture for no reason? It makes zero sense.
Thank you. Nor does she mention the brand. There's never any shameless plugs sitting on the couch. She's not doing anything. And the one thing that I know for sure is that when these brands give you their $10,000 couches, it comes with a contract and it comes with do's and don'ts, things you have to say, points you must cover. That's the part of the influencing in the blogging. So it's like, no.
Right, and that's the part where it's like influencing isn't as easy as people think it is. Like I've had a couple people have me do things. I'm like, this is a lot of work. Like who wants to do all this? Like you have to post at a certain time. You have to do all this and show certain things. I'm like, forget this. But no, don't forget it. Give me those checks. But it is work. So like you actually have to do the work, but it's hard with her because we don't actually see her doing the work. Like you said, the blog hasn't been updated since 2019, and then you go to her Instagram page and she's clearly not like shelling out that furniture stuff, so it just makes it all unbelievable and it makes it easier to
go
out
with Dr. Karen saying like, oh, my practice doesn't accept insurance, we're cash only, all of this. So you're cash up front on your business, you see multiple people, you're back, I think he said in the show like they recovered 200% since the pandemic. So it's like cash, because where's the money?
Thank you.
Can I add on that keep in mind this, and just the circle, right? Because it kind of flashed before me. We have discussed like perhaps Reed's robbery in another session, and now we're talking about Anila and Kieran's, right? Because there's questions. Because have we ever discussed Jennifer Aiden's? No, because that was a real robbery. And I just want us to keep that in mind for perspective. Not a word, not a peep, not an ounce.
Valid point. All right, so I want to talk about, two other things that happened at that party, right? So there was the other character, and I feel, I'm sorry, my fellow African sister, I can never remember your name because I don't really remember a lot of you from the show. What was her name, guys?
Audra.
Audra. Oh, yes. Hey, Audra.
I was like, who you don't remember, Reida?
No, Audra.
Oh,
So that interaction with Audra and Toya, first of all, I think that Audra is one of those people who's very interesting. Like, she says she doesn't care what people think and she does what she wants, but then she gets mad when someone doesn't like what she's into. So obviously you do care, because if you really didn't care, you wouldn't care what Toya says about you not having good fashion. You'd be like, F you, bitch, I wear what I want. But you got mad at her for what she says, so you obviously do care. And then she went into that whole thing about like, I checked online and this is how much, and I it was doing too much for me. I was not impressed. Some people were impressed. I would have been like, you childish fool. But what do you guys think about that?
One, I feel like, hey, if Toya doesn't like your fashion, you might be blessed in ways that you don't know. Because we all know how tickery-tackery Toya dresses, bless her heart.
Yeah.
But sour. And math.
I didn't say that, Toya. I love you.
I didn't want it. I didn't want all that. I didn't need all that. And I just felt like, was it the booze? Was it one too many? Because, ma'am, you're giving me stats that I never asked for. And that's all. Audra reminds me of Wendy, right? So when you do the math, Audra is 32. She just got married. She's pregnant with her second kid. That kid is 7, which means she had him early 20s. She is already a practicing lawyer in her field, which means she went to college, went to law school, passed the bar, and is now fully working in her field to the point where a show like Married to Medicine can pick her up. Baby girl has done a lot of work in her 32 years. She has made her African mama in them very proud. So I understand the idea of when you're walking around at 32, like she's just at the point, again, just doing the math where she can exhale. So when you're just coming off of holding your breath like that and somebody who you don't know goes, you're not that good of a lawyer, I understand how that can make you feel like, hold on, let me check you, let me read you, because I'm more accomplished than most, hell, even probably you at 32. You know what I'm saying? But then at the point in which you realize who your opponents are, you have to A, take that into account, and B, it's the work for the read for me, baby girl. What did Candy say? I'm embedded in your motherfucking brain. If you gotta go and Google and do leans and divide by 1 and carry the 2 and bring over the 12 to read me, baby, I already won.
That part, facts. Stephanie.
Okay, so several things. First of all, I feel like Toya acted like she wasn't picking with that girl. You don't know Audra. And it's like, hey, hi, if I've never met you and we're not cool, do not call me no bitch, because I'm going to take it as disrespect off, period. It's like, I'm sorry, what did you say to me? So the thing about it is, man, you have been picking with her since day one. You are acting like, you see how we were dressing in Vegas and how you were dressing? Bitch, y'all were going to go sit by the pool and eat eggs and make allegedly bacon. What are you talking about? Audra, like, the thing about it is, Toya is a very easy read for a real estate lawyer. And the read didn't land, and I'm so disappointed, because I'm like, girl, that was a waste of time, because we all knew why she moved. We all knew. This is not a secret. And it's kind of like, it becomes like Toya's act like she didn't do anything to her. I'm like, no, you kind of did. And it's like, for some odd reason, you're looking down your nose at Audra in a way that's super weird. Especially as a way that you didn't want Simone looking down her nose at you with your raggedy broke ass. You spun like a top when she called you raggedy and broke. So why were you trying to play one that Audra is beneath you, and low key you did it to Anila last season? So it's kind of like, yeah, Audra, that's a waste of your time with Toya. I'm being very honest. It's like, it's an easy read, but sometimes it's like, girl, maintain your energy. Toya ain't the one to waste your energy on.
Bloop. Now, speaking of Toya, though, something that definitely came out in that was the rumor of the alleged affair. Aaron, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think there's an affair? How do you think about them bringing it up at the party? Like, what's up?
I don't know if there's an affair, but I thought it was shady to bring up at a party, especially knowing that Anila and Toya are not at in a good place right now. But I do think even if Toya is doing something, that just wasn't the moment to bring that up. Like, I feel like maybe she should have pulled Toya to the side and asked her. But to be fair, also, I feel like this group of women, like as you've seen in even with the quad rumors, they brought up quad shit right there. So I don't see, it's not like she's doing something so different from the other ladies.
And can I say, maybe they felt it was appropriate. I don't think it was. I felt like they could have picked a different time. However, God bless Toya. The way you talk about Eugene and just about your marriage in general would maybe kind of make me assume that if I perhaps heard it, what does Giselle say all the time on the street? That I would have to, with Toya, perhaps pause and think, well, I guess the dicks don't get any bigger, and she just doesn't seem to really like her husband. I wonder if there could be a little stray moment, and for it to be brought up, for her to question why when she behaves in such a way. I have to say, Toya, is that a reach or is it not? And that's all.
No, I agree. Sneha. And I don't know why I feel like I keep saying your name wrong, and I'm sorry. And you're on mute.
Keisha. Are you talking about Keisha? Okay, I was like, no. Who's that?
No, not Keisha, but you too.
Sorry, that's okay. God, I'm on my phone. Sorry, it's very whatever. I'll unhand that. So, okay, on Heavenly's live, I think the very last one, she said that Eugene didn't talk to Toya for 2 weeks after he heard that I didn't know my husband's dick wasn't gonna get any bigger comment.
I believe it.
So I was just really confused that after having problems with Eugene, she doubled down at the reunion and called the sex lame. Like, what is going on with her? That's why we think she's stupid. Like, yeah. I love her, but
she's my favorite, but she definitely does not. I think she thinks it's just jokes, but like,
I don't.
Reida.
Toya, to me, I just don't think she does not speak about her husband. I'm not trying to be like misogynist, but I'm just saying the women on this show, the way they ride for their husbands, even though they may dog them out, but then they still ride for them. She doesn't do that. Like the way that like even Simone, because Heavenly did the same mess to Simone, like however many seasons ago when she was talking about when Heavenly said something about Cecil and Simone like let her have it. And that's the thing, like, I just don't feel like Toya understands the assignment when it comes to the way this show is set up with the husbands and the wives, because she just does not do that. I mean, her husband is clearly not some like super duper alpha, like blah, 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 whatever. But he is clearly what I consider, from all we can see, a good man. And I think he tries to take care of his family. And that's great.
I have a really quick question, Reida.
Dog him. Huh?
No, I was gonna say I have a really quick question based on what you just said, though. No, I'm gonna bring it back to you, but because I was gonna ask if you think that she does like at the reunion because she does stand up for him, but do you also think it's because she gets so much crap and we all think Eugene is great, and do you think like on a subconscious level she kind of wants to like knock him down a notch to all of us?
That could be true, but it's so hard. I'm having a hard time believing what she's saying on, like, I'm not sure you're going to knock him down enough in this audience's estimation if that's what she's subconsciously doing, because
No, it just made him look better.
But I feel like Toya is the only person on this cast that is not from Georgia. And this is not like a complete stand up for Toya, because I think she does like belittle Dr. Eugene in a way that is like, if she was my friend, I'd be like, baby, wind it back, okay? But Toya is the only girl on this cast from Detroit, Michigan. Now, I don't know if any of y'all have ever met no women from Detroit, Michigan. They are a different breed all around. It's like, even when it comes to like compassion and empathy, it's like, yo, I fucking love you. Like, I fucking said it. Like, they're very, very, very alpha, you know what I mean? And I also think that there's a little bit of room where alpha females don't translate A on TV, and then B, when you stack them next to Southern wives. These women are mouthy, and they are not the epitome of like that 1950 housewife have dinner on the table, but at the end of the day, they're still very much Southern women raised by other Southern women, and that's not Toya. So I also think that what we're getting is a little bit of a geographical like misunderstanding. And again, Toya is responsible for a huge part of that. I'm not trying to take the onus away from her, but I also don't feel like we give that credit to her. And again, I experienced that being a Jersey girl in Georgia. You know what I mean? Where it's like, that wasn't funny to y'all? Because that was hilarious. Bi-coastal, because, well, I was married, but now I'm getting paid alimony. Check it. So, but even then, I just don't think on camera I would be like, man, I really thought their dicks would get bigger. Yo,
I just think that
because that's
real though.
Like,
yeah,
I
that's
don't think Toya phases like cameras. Yeah,
that's where I am too. Because and I think Mary has a good point about Southern women, but also Heavenly's from Florida, so it's like she definitely is a Southern woman, and so like Florida women are also different. And Lord have mercy, every time. It's like every time Heavenly goes off on somebody, I'm like, yeah, she's definitely from Florida. She is not from Atlanta, and I can definitely tell. I think the issue is with Toya is that maybe you're doing this to try to deter people from trying to have the coitus with your husband. However, it doesn't seem like you really like him all that much. Because it's like, ma'am, why would you say, oh, his penis is not getting any bigger? And also, now that I'm married, I get the vanilla sex. I'm like, your husband's sitting right next to you. What the heck does that mean? Because Eugene has flat out said, oh, she's not the freak that y'all think she is. I'm like, let's be very clear. Eugene's kind of quiet. He seems like the freak that I think he is. It's like, y'all have this disconnect. So there's no way you're going to sit in my face, Toya, and think what you did is like, oh, it's okay. I know for a fact it's not, and I don't even have a penis. So, girl, you need to go sell that bridge to somebody else.
But I also felt like the lame sex was, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think it was like a little bit of mix of like trying to show representation, right? Like, I don't know who all is married here, but we've all been there where you're like, to the Candy point, Candy and Todd talked about the lack of sex in their relationship. You get so busy with you're checking off the boxes and you're being a good mom, and you're being a good dad, and you're making sure the business is good, and you're da-da-da-da-da-da. By 10 o'clock at night, it ain't no coochie left in the bag. I ain't got nothing. Like, and the men the same way. It's like this, again, we don't give credit to the fact that Eugene paid off that $100,000 in less than a year. In liquid cash. That's a lot of working. And while he's doing that, she's carting the kids back and forth to school, doing all the PTAs by herself because he's at work making the money. When you come home, it ain't no coitus. And if it is, it's missionary. Like, ain't nobody got time to be swinging from the raptors. Like, we tired.
Well, and they both mentioned that they were having problems at that time. Like, he acknowledged that he was working too much. She said that she was lonely. So I think that definitely plays a part in it. And I think that probably there's some like a little bit of resentment in there. But I think that like Quad, well, first of all, I think Quad jumps at any chance she can to bring Toya down and to fight with Toya. And it's interesting because Simone was the one who put out the allegations, but she still got on Toya about it. And then even at the reunion, she's all over Eugene and Toya, and it's just like, mind your own business. But
can I ask where Kristen, the Toya Quad beef really began? Because I've rewatched it, and I don't understand it. And I
mean,
just want to know if
last
anyone
season-
else catches it.
Last season, Toya said Quad lived in an apartment, which made
Okay,
her
so-
lose her mind.
But it was before that.
Is she still
It's been since season 1. They have
Yeah.
been at each other
Yeah.
since season 1, and I think it probably started with the whole fight with Mariah, because at that time Quad was really cool with Mariah, because it circled around
Yeah, because
Toya
Quad and Mariah were
going
best friends, and
yeah, Quad and
Mariah
Mariah.
and Toya.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. Toya talked about
Oh.
her daughter's paternity in a
Mhm.
hair salon, and it was like,
Mhm.
girl, why would you mention Lauren in any capacity? And ever since then, it's like, girl, we prickly, but we not cool.
But you would have thought
Okay.
that they would have gotten together when Quad and Mariah had the falling out. You would
And
have
they
thought that-
didn't.
And
they
they did,
didn't.
but I think it's also after she got divorced from Greg, all of a sudden Toya was like, no, she shouldn't be on this trip. I'm like, I don't want no single woman around my husband. It's like, you really think Quad is coming to steal your husband? You were trying to ice her out of this group because she was divorced, even though it wasn't like you just met this woman. This is someone who is your friend. Yeah, I'd be nose open for your ass too. It's like, wait a minute. Now I'm less than you, and then you're saying I live in some ragged little apartment, and then you're like, I've always been your friend. No, you two have not been friends. You've always been associates, and y'all trying to play in our face. Y'all are not friends.
Okay, so that's the clarity I needed. It wasn't like they were ever close, because I rewatched it during the panorama ram. I didn't want to go into that. And I just felt like, where's this coming from? You know what I mean? And
Lauren,
it's
they
been
were
there.
both Mariah's friends. It's like, you ever have that friend who two people are friends with one person and they're not friends.
Right.
It's like,
But I
Kristen,
also
was gonna
think
ask,
they
like,
see
what
each
do
other.
you-
I think they both little hood girls. I'm sorry, they both went to college and they educated, but I think they both little hood girls who got them little doctor men, okay? And I think they saw each other. And I think that there was jealousy on Toya's part for the family and the situation and how hard Eugene rides for Toya. Dr. G didn't do that for Quad. And I think that there was jealousy on Quad's end because, like, bro, you made it out. You made it out without any kids. You got your own, like, you're not, like, I really feel like Toya wants to be outside a little bit. I feel like she's missing
I think
her
Toya
youth
wants to be
little
outside
bit.
a little bit, and Quad wants to be inside, and they both have
Exactly.
jealousy.
And the jealousy is what the beef is.
Yep. Kristen, what do you think about their falling out? Well, not their falling out, but just their beef in general, and the way that Toya navigates, and like even speaking to the reunion and how she called him a mangina and was still going at it and defending her talking of Eugene at the reunion. Kristen?
Yes.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, yeah. Here's the thing, like, Quad, there are things that both of them are jealous of. Quad is jealous that she don't have a man that's gonna stand up for her and provide for her, so she don't have to work so hard, because she don't mind hustling, but having that additional income, that's what she really likes. And Eugene cooks for her and takes care of her and pampers her and makes sure that she's good and checks on her. And I don't ever remember Dr. G doing that.
Nope.
So I think in that sense, she's a little jealous, but I think also, as we all do sometimes as mothers and partners and wives, we miss our singledom, our single life before that. So I think in a way, Toya misses, is jealous of that part of Quad's life, where Quad has a lot more freedom. So they were never friends. I don't think they were ever going to be friends. And I think they should really just kind of work on being civil, because I think once Toya put her hands on Mariah, while Mariah and Quad were friends, that always tainted her, how she felt about it. Like, she's never going to like her after that. And then there was these always tit for tat moments. They've been going back and forth since the beginning of the season, even when they tried to be friends. When Quad brought the basket of oodles and noodles to her house when her and Eugene were going through something, like, what is that? So, you know what I mean? Like, we're really not friends.
No.
You gonna get me a
But
shirt
the
that says
stick up for
divorce?
Mariah, or the I'm not friends with her because she wasn't friends with Mariah, went out the window for me when she accused Mariah of being a drug addict. Like
I know.
any beef
I'm
that
with you.
you have attached to that friendship is gone,
That
like
should be
because you
over.
clearly don't care about that woman.
You would think that would be over, but they keep going back and forth.
Right. If you already have your own beef, it's gonna continue on with that. Now, speaking of putting hands on people, Sneha, what do you think about the face smush? Was there a face smush?
What is that what they were calling it, right?
That's what I'm calling it.
Okay.
She open palm hand that
That's a
girl.
mush.
Oh, okay.
It's a mush.
So it just from
Feel
what
like a basketball.
from what Heavenly said on her live, there was a lot more going on at that party that we never saw. I think someone hit Anila, and then I think Carrie might have been involved. Does anyone know any more about what happened at that party? Because I feel like we missed some stuff.
No, I don't know about that.
Oh,
The
I
only
heard some
thing I
stuff.
knew is that Audra's hands was valid. The way that she stepped back and got into that stance, I don't know if any of y'all know nothing about martial arts, but the way she put that right foot behind her and squared her chest away, she was finna deck Toya in her shit, and that would have been the fight of a century.
But I
And
do
I'm kind of
think
sad
that
we didn't get it.
I would say I don't. Well, I'm not gonna give my opinion yet. Reida, what do you think about the smush? Like, who do you think was at fault? Who started it?
I'm going to be really real. I might have completely missed the smush in the face. I just remember.
I saw it.
That's okay.
I saw it.
I'll go to Aaron and then I'll go to Lauren.
I think they were I think they were equally wrong. But you know what? That's what honestly made me enjoy Audra a bit more. Despite like some of the things that she might have done that I disagree with. I like that she stuck up for herself, because normally a lot of people try to avoid Toya or they'll just like end the conversation, but she was with it. And I respect that. You know, she met Toya where she was at.
Yeah, I like Audra. I just forgot about her. It's my only issue.
But it was random as hell that they even got in that disagreement, because
like, to that level,
Anila and Toya were into it. Audra had nothing to do with that. So I was like, you could tell she was waiting to say something to Toya.
She was. And like Elle said, though, like Toya's from Detroit. Like, you don't get that close to someone from Detroit and not expect them to.
No, not
she's
close.
lucky
She
she
bumped
only
that
got a
girl
face
with the
smush.
chest. Like,
She
she
was like,
lucky
"What's
bumped that
up?"
girl. I feel like that was an appropriate response. Like, she
Lauren, what were you gonna say?
infiltrated
like
her
they
bubble.
were very close. I felt like each energy was giving, and that's why I said I felt like the sauce that everyone was drinking was on a level high. And I do feel like I heard that there were more things going on at that party, because for that amount of energy, I felt like, what did we miss?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The Patron is strong.
We mixed a lot. Because apparently
What's
the
on
girls,
the cutting room floor.
yeah, because apparently Zaina also got into the mix, hence why we don't see her. But it's kind of hard because Zaina wasn't mic'd up, so apparently she got into the fray of it as well. Because the thing about it is, when you think about Toya and Audra, I'm like, I knew this was going to happen because Toya's drunk ass was loud and talkative and said, "And Eugene and Audra are going to say, I know one thing, bitch, I know you're not saying my name right now. I know, heifer, I know I did not just hear my name." And it was like, yeah. So you see, like, them getting close. I'm like, girl, somebody going to swing. See, here's the thing. You call me a bitch, we're going to fight. On the other side of it is like, girl, you in my face, I'm going to mush you. Whether I am right or wrong on this, I'm going to mush you in the face. So it's like, yeah, I can understand the mushing, but clearly, if y'all weren't in the way, Audra would have knocked Toya clean the fuck out.
Yes.
And I would not blame her.
Instantly. She would have been on the floor, but it wasn't the name calling or even the in my face. I think at a certain level, like, to me, I have a undiagnosed phobia of prison, right? Like, I've seen Orange is the New Black and I'm not going to make it. So you could get in my face. You could call me what you need to call me. It was the chest bump that made me feel like this is what you deserve. Like, you asked and answered. She physically touched her. Like, even though it wasn't her hands, it was her chest. She initiated the physicality in the situation. And so, like, I felt like the only answer was what Toya gave her. And I felt like Toya's answer was very polite.
Agreed. Agreed. Because I've never been in a fight, but if you come that close to me, I'm
Right.
like human instincts. I'm gonna push you away from me. Like that's
No,
just
But
August
that
really
moment-
did say, "Please walk me like a dog" when she chest bumped her.
That moment definitely
Drag
did
me,
make me
Monique.
appreciate Toya a lot more too. Because I just feel like Toya was good this season for the most part. Normally, I'm not a fan of Toya, but this season Toya was in her lane. Even with Quad, I don't think they're genuine friends, but I do believe that she was trying to make a good impression and be respectful and at least be cordial with her. With the whole thing, it was a little shady, but it was on brand for her.
Yeah, I agree. I want to talk a little bit about the reunion, and I'm going to kick it off with Mark and Keisha, but I do want. So when we talk about the reunion, I specifically want to talk about Heavenly, Quad, and Dr. Daddy, because that was a moment for me. Like that to me was a moment. Like, don't talk to my and I feel so many ways about it because I hate to do it, but I agree with Heavenly. Like, don't address my husband. Like, I'm sitting in front of you. We are both women. Like, talk to me. Don't talk. I felt like Quad was trying to tattletale on her. Like, do you know what she does in her closet? Like, I felt like she was trying to tattle on her, which was inappropriate to me. And it's like, talk to me. But then I also thought it was interesting. I thought he handled it very well, but I think he usually does. But I do want to get everyone's sort of opinion on that. Stephanie has her hand raised, so we'll do Stephanie, then Keisha, then Mark, and then we'll Reida, and we'll keep it all in the mix.
I'm like, let me raise my hand so I can say
Yes.
this if I have to jump off. So I really, really like Damon Times. I have always liked Dr. Damon. I love that he speaks like he has a very small budget of words. So he weighs every single thing that he says. And he does not get into the mix of anything at all. So on one hand, I agree both with Quad and Heavenly. Heavenly, I get it. Like, yeah, no, you don't need to ask my husband shit. You can ask me. But also, if we are literally sitting here talking about it, I'm not asking behind your back. I'm literally asking you in front of him. So it's kind of like, I see both of it and it's like, yeah, both of y'all are right and wrong at the exact same time. So it's totally fine. And Quad is my favorite on this show. And she had me down bad for like 65% of this season. I like that Quad flat out said to Toya, what I said to you, I said to hurt you. That is it. Nothing else. I just wanted to hurt you and I'm sorry for that. None of y'all no other heifers on that stage will be that honest. Like, I'm just saying this to hurt you. Everybody's like, I'm gonna make an excuse. She's like, I ain't making no excuses. I said it to hurt you.
And that's why I like Quad, even when I don't like Quad.
That's why it's like, I actually like that because one, all of y'all do it to each other. Y'all say stuff to hit yourselves, kick each other in the gut. And Quad is the only one on that stage who flat out said, I did this to hurt you. It's like, and also you and like, one, Eugene, you shouldn't be addressing Quad either. Quad, stop addressing Eugene. Because one, Eugene like to get into the mix a certain way, which, sidebar, which is why I like that Curtis spoke up when Eugene is sitting here talking to Karen about jokes. And he was like, well, you didn't really care when you were making jokes about me cheating. Oh, well, that was different. No, actually, it's not.
It was different because Eugene turned around.
No.
Like once Curtis said it wasn't.
But the thing about it's a different circumstance. But the thing about it, he still acts like, well, it was like he didn't feel all that bad. He was like, oh, I'm sorry, I hurt you. It's like he didn't think he did anything wrong. He said, I mean, it was a joke and it was fine. I mean, but I hurt you. And that's why Curtis brought it up because he remembered. It's like, you weren't all that, you apologized for hurting my feelings, but you didn't think you really did anything wrong. So it can't be, it's a joke unless it's my family and my wife and my kids and my 17 houses that I keep leasing and renting and moving out of. It's like, yeah, it can't be both. It's like that thing between Eugene and Quad should have not happened. It should have stayed between Toya and Quad. Like Quad, but I get it because one, she liked to react because one, Heavenly, you dug in Cecil's ass when he said something about you on Twitter and y'all went back and forth. And Simone was like, you so out of line. So why y'all not saying like pick a side, y'all? It's like also stop talking about each other on social media. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, that part.
Guys, I deleted my Twitter, but God, their Twitter
you did what
back
now?
and forth this season.
I can't get through Love is Blind without Twitter. I know it's not a Bravo show,
let it
but
go.
I need Twitter for Love is Blind.
I just wanted to do this for Quad, just my love of Quad.
And her signs.
Delusional.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I did feel like the Eugene Curtis comments though were a little bit of apples and oranges, right? Because I felt like Eugene's joke was based on content that Cecil gave. You disrespected your wife, and what I did was I made a joke out of you disrespecting your wife. Although
and they were longer friends.
Right. Although inappropriate, although shouldn't have, if I probably wouldn't do that to my friend, but you put it out there. You know what I mean? You had it on the blogs. And what I said was that you was dipping in the cootie cat other than your wife. That's a fact. You just didn't like the joke. Whereas I was moving and that had nothing to do with you. I wasn't asking none of y'all for money. I wasn't on here pandering for more screen time in order to afford the move. And you came as a U-Haul driver. Like,
yeah.
What was that? The court.
But I thought they were making fun of the fact that they have frequently moved.
That's, right. I mean, that is what it was. But moving on from the jokes though, where were we? Oh, Keisha was next, right? It was Keisha and then and then Mark.
We were talking about the dynamic with Dr. Daddy and Quad. Okay, just to make sure. You know, I'd be smoking that weed. I just love Dr. Daddy, and you know it's bad when he says something. Like, you know it's bad. And I think behind the scenes, he is probably having that chat with Heavenly with a little bit more octave down and probably a little bit more words. Because there ain't no way he loves the attention and loves what she does, because she's probably embarrassing him.
Yeah.
And I also don't, but I think Quad was just like, kind of like, well, you see what she's doing, right? Like, I think it was finally like, I need support here, and you seem like to be the only person who can get through her head. So
how do you feel about then the way Contessa spoke to him?
Misguided. I think she was just fed the hell up. And he's a teddy bear. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and yell at Smoking the Bear, even if I'm smoking a joint and he's telling me to put it out, because he's just so nice. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel about him. Like, he was so calm. His tone was great. He was also speaking critically of his wife. So it wasn't like he was on just her side. Contessa didn't want to hear it because he was tied to her. And I usually love Contessa, although she's been wild. But you can tell he's annoyed. And I think that's the best way you can tell in the most subtle way, is that the fact that he said something and he wants them to stop fighting because he sees how stupid it is too. And I also think he sees that Heavenly is hurting because she's going through real shit and he's trying to scale it back. And I think that's probably the reason why he spoke about it, was because he was like, okay, you know, my wife is going through something. I have to be there for her. So how can I help?
Yeah, I agree. Mark. We'll do Mark and then Reida.
Mute.
Okay, so the way I saw this whole thing play out in my head, and just because I've watched these women from season 1, to see Quad's whole life kind of crumble in front of us, in front of the world, and these women were carrying her through a lot of that. Last year, Quad made it her mission to burn a lot of bridges. And that has come full circle and bit her right in her ass. Now, she expects these women to treat her when her and Dr. G was still together and she was suffering. Well, those days are done, honey. And you've got to stand on your own truth instead of worrying about what somebody else is doing. But she wants to focus on Heavenly because Heavenly is the most easiest target for her to go after, because there is a history of them not really liking each other. I get that. However, Heavenly made mistakes this year. Honey, she makes mistakes every year. But the problem with the fact of the matter is this, is that to go after Heavenly when you know what's going on in her home. Yeah. I understood 100% why Damon spoke up and said, enough. Just stop. At a certain point, you would think that they would all have the common sense to just dial it back and be real, honest people. But you can't, sometimes the cameras, the fame, the what have you gets in the way of it. You want to be sensational, but damn it, you can't do it on the backs of somebody's dead body. And that is the biggest problem I had with this whole damn reunion. Stop putting on a show. Because I want to just go back to the 4th season real quick, when Simone and Cecil announced their divorce at that reunion. They all put on their grown-ass shoes, got together, and they fixed it together because nobody wanted that to happen. Now, what I want to see is them lift each other up again when somebody's loved one is dying, and you don't have that capacity or bandwidth to show that humility to them when you were just asking for it the year before. Girl, bye. And now you can mute me.
I do have to say, because I normally give like a huge leeway to someone losing a loved one. I can't, like, just the thought of losing my mom makes me want to break down. So anyone going through that, I give them a huge leeway. And for me, it was sad that Heavenly didn't get that. But I do also think like Heavenly is so out of pocket all the time. It's not like she was acting any different than Heavenly.
It's not about being out of pocket. It's about being part of this cast from day one, and the fact that you've got to have that.
Give it to her. Like, I see what you're saying, Mark, but it's hard to give her that grace.
Because she was just being Heavenly. Like, that's how she always acts.
Like, it's hard to give somebody grace when they're hard to like.
Right. It felt very much like Lisa Rinna screaming like, "Oh, I'm grieving," but you're acting the same way that you've been acting.
I got it. But it's Heavenly like that all the time. Like,
Heavenly does not make me feel that way inside like Rinna. That's a I get Rinna's a piece of shit.
I mean, like that's different.
Not that
like,
big of a piece of shit.
Right. I just
feel
think that in the sense of like what Heavenly did, and actually, I would say, given how Heavenly, I actually could tell that Heavenly was grieving because she was better than she normally is.
She was.
To me, like the way that Heavenly normally flips out at situations, and normal, like the amount of times she was like, "I'm just gonna walk away," the time she said a few things and was leaving, like to me, that showed her grief. Whereas other people act out, she was reeling it in because of her grief.
But I feel like she took it out on Dr. Damon Daddy more. And like that's the thing. For me, I felt like it was very Toya-esque, if you will, for her to be like, "Oh, don't talk to him, don't talk to him." Like for me, just the way I handled my marriage, I would have turned to my husband and been like, "Can you stop addressing her?" I would have turned my back and my conversation would have been with my husband. "Hey, I feel this is really disrespectful. Could you just pay her dust because X, Y, and Z, or I'll tell you why later. And then if Andy has any questions, you can answer Andy's questions directly." I would have given him the respect of being a man to have that conversation with him. For her to yell at Quad saying, "Don't talk to my husband, don't talk to my," as if he wasn't sitting right behind her, was extremely emasculating to me, and I really didn't like it. I do think though that he handled himself very well. "I'm sitting right here, Andy. I'm here to do my job. If you have any more questions, I will answer the questions," because that lady, she a little off her rocker today. That's what he didn't say, but that was what was in between his lines. Was like, do y'all think it was because
capacity, so ignore her.
Quad was trying to make her accountable, being like, "Well, if this happens again," and she's like, "Don't talk to my husband." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say that I think that I had an epiphany with their relationship this season. Which is because I'm not normally a guy's gonna tell me what to do type, right? And like, or tell me to stop talking or tell me to stop whatever. But I realized that's because I don't need it. I control myself. I think Heavenly literally does not control herself and needs a Damon. Like, whereas a Damon would be upset with me because I know that if you're telling me to calm down, that I'm not at a level where I need to because I can control myself. I had to acknowledge that like not everybody has that level of self-control and self-restraint. And like sometimes a Heavenly needs a Damon to reel her in because otherwise she goes off. Like if Damon isn't there to reel her in, sometimes she goes off. And so it gives me another level of respect for the relationship. even though I wouldn't
Oh yeah,
necessarily.
no, like for
Yeah,
me, my anger can go to blackout really quickly. And so sometimes I need my husband to be like, we're at that halfway mark, babe. It's getting
That's the
ready to
thing
get
that-
weird now.
And this is like you saying that, Elle. I think I called you Mayor. I'm like, I don't know why I call her Mayor. I'm like, am I focusing on something else
I know,
different?
I was like, baby, am I disengaging?
I'm Stephanie, and then we'll
from
do
it.
Sneha, because I saw you.
Yeah. So the thing about it is that this is what marks why Damon and Heavenly seemingly sent to work. So the thing about it is me watching first Renna and now Heavenly as they are navigating losing a parent, because I lost a parent. It's so weird for me to watch because I saw Heavenly's wheels turning. She's like, look, my emotions are all over the place and I don't want to freak out on anybody because I lost my mother. It's like, yeah, I get that, because I don't want to, I'm like, I lost my father and I don't want to like shit on anybody. I don't want to cuss nobody out, because that's exactly how I felt, because you just mad. I'm like, girl, why are you bothering me with this shit? I literally lost my parent. Why are you bothering me? So it's kind of like, that's why I'm like sitting in the middle between Heavenly and Quad. I'm like, I get why you're saying that, but let's not act like literally Damon is sitting right there. You're not saying something that he can't hear you ask. It's like he can ask the question, but also I will give this to Heavenly. I got to give her a petal of a flower. When it comes to the husband, she has maintained, you don't talk shit about your husband on this camera. You don't say nothing. You follow what he is. So it's kind of
And
like
she's maintained that for other, like she's held that standard for the other girls,
everybody
too.
else.
Yes.
So it's like, I believe her when she told Toya, don't talk about your husband on screen. She told Contessa the same thing. Don't talk about your husband on the screen. It's like, girl, keep it at home. So I will give Heavenly that, but it's kind of like, I agree. I wish there would have been more like outside of maybe Jackie. I feel like if her and Contessa were still friends, Contessa would have been there with her. And to a certain extent, Simone, you would have seen more of them kind of rallying around. They did when Jackie lost her father. So it's kind of like, I wish there had been a little bit more grace extended, but I think the problem is that they don't believe that it's going to be genuine because of how Heavenly has treated them in the past. But I think that really should just like, yeah, this is not about my past with you. This is about you grieving. And that really should have trumped everything else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I have always had so many questions about Heavenly and Dr. Damon's marriage. Like, I just want like a hidden camera in their house because, they seem like just such opposites. But I think in this season, that scene after the dinner by the car, when he was like, I told you to stop. I mean, in his like very, very calm way. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's ever said anything like that on camera before. So
like a little bit.
A little,
I feel like he kind of has, because we all know that he's like that. Did you say season 3, Mark? Is that what the 3 is? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he has a little bit. That's why we all know he's like that, but not often.
He did that.
It was something
3.
this season too. I'm gonna scour my notes. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I think it was season 3 when they was on that vacation in the Bahamas, and he had to put his foot down. He had to put his foot down because he got mad at her, and I was like, I ain't never seen Daddy act out like that before, but now I see why she called him Daddy. I was like, okay, Daddy.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta watch season 3 again, definitely.
He checks her. I mean, he checks her like a lot. I mean, more than I think we realize. And I think if like Heavenly were married to a different type of man, she would be popping off constantly. Like, I think she, as much as it's not that tame, she tames it down in response to Damon, Daddy, times, whatever, because she knows. So, and I get it, because you can tell he's just not, he is on the show for her. And I told you that is very obvious, but he's also like not with the shits is also like it really and truly. And he's also not with the shits with her. Like, he's like, look, he knows she's going to be messy, but there's a certain point in which I think he's just not having it and he lets it be known.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like honestly Eugene's sort of the same way, because I think that Eugene gets a lot of like, oh, he puts up with Toya, but I think Eugene checks Toya when he needs to. I think Eugene also enjoys Toya's mouth more than Dr. Damon enjoys Heavenly. I think Dr. Damon puts up with Heavenly's mouth because it is what it is, but I think Eugene actually enjoys Toya. And didn't he say something to that effect? Like they were at dinner or something once, right? And he said, like, I know that you're gonna put, like, it was at a dinner, but yeah, I think he enjoys it, but he also knows when to step in and when to put his foot down. And I think that Toya has that same respect for him that Heavenly does for Damon. They just both show it in different ways and how it comes out.
It was the episode where Dr. Heavenly went to Dr. Jackie about the menopause, and I think they were in the bedroom. So in the bedroom, he was telling her, like, I told you, you do too much. Like it was the verbiage, and I literally have it in my notes. He was like, I told you, and like you saw her face, and even me, I was like, maybe you asked me, and he doubled down. He was like, no, I told you X, Y, and Z. Like this is too far. This is the
I
line.
love that you have notes with that. Like, I feel like you're just prepping for like Housewives University. Like your notes are ready. Like it could be a whole class with you.
No, it's really bad. I was like, and when I was looking through it, I was like, no, I underlined you told. Like, because I remember thinking, me and mine, like, I'm definitely alpha female. I'm like, you ain't tell me nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
No,
I thank you
that's not how
guys
this
so much
works.
for joining. Like, there's just so much. It's funny because when I started this, I'm like, oh, we'll do it in 45 minutes. There's not a ton to talk about. Nope, there's still a ton to talk about. But that's why I love it. And I feel like we didn't even, like, we barely talked about Simone. I don't think she really gave a lot this season besides having Toya's back. And though the fact that she's the one who started the stuff about Quad. And I like that at the reunion, she admitted that she started it on purpose. And I was like, okay.
She never throws the rock and hides her hand. And that's what I love about Dr. Simone. She's often wrong, but she will also stand up and say, I know it was me. I did it. The person you're looking for is right here. But I do think that she tried to have a very calm season. She was like, it's been a lot of me. It's been a lot of me yelling. And at the end of the day, no matter what, it was Simone who broke the doctor-patient, what is it? Doctor-patient
confidentiality.
Yes.
Confidentiality. Thank you. The beard.
Definitely a HIPAA violation with Buffy.
It was her, and that's not what we talk about. We talk about Dr. Jackie.
Wait, what HIPAA violation did she break?
Dr. Simone was Buffy's doctor. So Simone told Jackie that that Buffy was infertile, which should have never happened. And I think it's feeling like, again, with the pressures of social media as they infiltrate the show, or as it infiltrates the show, I feel like Simone knew that. Simone was like, let's lay back on the fact that me and Cecil are together because y'all seem to like that. I'm going to give you a little bit of Omarosa because where the fuck did she come from? And we're going to write this book. And then that's it. Like, you know what I mean? She did say the things about Quad, but it was very like, oh, did y'all hear this? And then set back. But I'm writing a book.
I'm just going to put this out there, though. What really disappointed me this year is that Jackie, Simone, Toya, for the most part, kept their damn mouth shut about a lot of things. And I'm like, I was like, are you three just gonna coast this whole season?
How do you put Toya in that? I feel like Toya was in the midst. But I do feel like Jackie, I'd like to see Jackie speak up about. Because I felt like she was very quiet.
Toya was edging around a corner here and there, but she wasn't in it. She wasn't in it.
She wasn't starting anything, or she wasn't causing anything.
She was only in it. It had something to do with her.
Yeah,
if it didn't have anything to do with her, she was like, "Oh, girl, what's going on? You like this cauliflower?"
We also saw less of Toya in the Patron, and I think that that's a tell as well.
I thought
a lot of the Toya drama
you said that I did.
Comes right out of that Patron.
Right after. Do y'all have Patron here? And then Toya turns up.
Yep.
Petrolia was not on display. I don't know why. Because the thing about this, I'm glad somebody brought up Dr. Simone, because I'm like, yeah, you're the reason why that happened, the whole thing with Buffy. And for some reason, you don't catch that much of it. Also, Simone, please actually say that you had no problem saying that because you think that you are right because you heard it from Quad's ex-friend. See, Funky dimed your ass clean out. It's like, I loved Funky's reviews this season because he's fair. He's like, I'm like, God daggone it.
But I do love the loyalty of Simone because you know she did it because they came for Quad or they came for Toya, and so that was her way of being loyal. And I love the loyalty of Simone.
It's your raggedy broke ass. I'm sorry. That lives in infamy in my head because the way that Toya and her wig spun around, like, what did you just call me?
Yep. Simone, and you know Simone goes from 0 to 600 in 5 seconds.
She's like, "Oh, is that all you got to say?" I'm like, "Please stop this. Please leave us alone."
My favorite.
I mean, she did give us "This Is America," so.
Oh my gosh!
And This Is America. I'll be mad at who I want to be mad at.
No, This Is America really did eat down. Like that was honestly one of the best.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was on the list
overall,
where Heavenly continue saying your mother.
That's
your mama.
Your mama. Oops, I'm sorry.
I would love
Anyway,
to see
your
Heavenly.
mama.
I need Heavenly and Candace to get into it because
No.
whose mouth do you think is more reckless?
Oh my, they are buddies.
Hell no.
They
Whose
are
mouth is
buddies.
more
I
reckless?
love it.
Be on fire. Like
It's
I mean,
Heavenly.
It would go
Heavenly.
from 0 to 700 and someone be dead or catch a court case.
It would be Heavenly
Stephanie,
because
you said
Heavenly's a
Heavenly.
sister.
Rita, who did you say?
I'm going to say Heavenly only because Candace brings in physicality into reads, and I don't like that as much
So
as a
does
Candace
Heavenly.
fan as I.
Heavenly will fat shame
She
everybody.
does. She
Yeah,
does.
she'll
loves
fat
to fat
shame
shame.
people, and I don't know. I think for me, I look over Heavenly and her fat shaming because I see like her insecurity, like just but Candace, well, it doesn't matter. It's the forehead, it's the feet, it's the looks, it's the craters on the face. And I don't know, just the school of like the dozens. Like my family are a bunch of comedians, and the way that I was raised is you don't pick at things that people can't change. Like yes, somebody could change their weight, but like also not so much. You don't know what's going on there. So their ethnicity, their language, their dialect, their skin features, those aren't reads. That's how I was brought up. So like for Candace, I feel like she loses points on the reads because I don't count half of her reads as reads.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Candace goes for the jugular. I'll give her that.
So you think she would drag Heavenly, or you think Heavenly would drag?
Verbally, I think Candace could really put a hurting on Heavenly. However, I think Heavenly, when she snaps and gets going, and she's got the right amount of brown liquor, we ready to go.
Like that fighting at the reunion, it was just, and I think part of why their fights are so good is they're so intelligent. They're all so intelligent, and watching intelligent people fight with each other, wow, it's beautiful.
So why
Rita,
is
who did you
Daniela
say?
there?
Oh, I was just going to say that Heaven. I don't know. I can't. Candace and Heavenly, I just couldn't. I don't even know if I could even see that or watch it because I just feel like both of them to me don't have a stopping point. Like they'll just go and like it'll be your mama forever. Like, I mean, but worse. They just don't know how to stop. And like when and to me, don't get me twisted. I actually am in Candace this season on Potomac, but she gets in under people's skin for some reason. I don't know. Like, I mean, there are a lot of people who I think are more on her side this year, but she is one of those people that I think I feel like Heavenly would try to decimate her because Heavenly would be so angry, like whatever would come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
I feel like Candace gets it though, because I feel like generally speaking, I'm just speaking for Black women. Black women don't always know how to receive a Black woman who didn't have to get it out of the mud. So Candace being a brown Black girl on this show who I didn't have to do half of the stuff that y'all had to do to get to the point of wealth. Like I came in here with the semi-silver spoon in my mouth and we've just elevated since then. And I don't feel like the Bravo girls know how to ingest that. Heavenly has a dark story in a room with no windows and she became a doctor. Like all of the the bottom of Tennessee, like all of these women came in and then came up. Whereas Candace was like, I'm here, what's next? And I feel like that always just like, it's a mirror for them.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
She was raised very, very upper middle wealthy. I mean, it's a very different. And honestly, I'll be for real, because I think the thing about Potomac, I know we're not talking about Potomac, but the thing about Potomac and Candace, which my sister has enlightened me to this, is not enlightened me, but just we talked about this, is that I just feel like they came for her so hard because there's a lot of colorism obviously on that cast. And like, so it's really like, while Candace does, I think, rub people the wrong way, I have a lot of compassion for her because I think that cast, especially Miss Ashley. Now I know everybody's looking at her right now, but Miss Ashley is I want to be
Reida.
Yeah, we can't even get into it because you are right. But also, shameless plug, if you haven't seen it, I do have an episode called Black and Bougie, where we talk about Black generational wealth and we break down Candace and her wealth and how it's perceived. And we talk about Toya too, how it's perceived when one person grows up into it versus someone wanting it. So check out that episode if you haven't.
I want to that. Just one thing about Heavenly versus Candace. I think Heavenly will go after parts of Candace that the other Potomac girls won't. She will go all in about her jobs and her work because that's what Heavenly's all about. And she definitely will go all in on her man, which the Potomac girls are, I mean, I know they're trying with the in a room unattended thing, but like I just feel like there's so much more they could say about Chris that they don't, and maybe some of you would have more input into that because you know they're in an interracial marriage, but like I see stuff about Chris all the time, like broke Chris, you know, and they just don't go there.
No, and Heavenly certainly would go there. Heavenly would go there and drag them both for film.
Call me when your man get a job. That would have been her first thing. That would have been the first thing.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much to talk about for coming on and talking about Married to Medicine with me. I love that show. It's my favorite show on Bravo. Yeah, because even when like I just feel like the season feels so fast. But it's because it's so enjoyable. Like I look forward to it each week and I want to watch it. And it doesn't feel like a chore. So, you know, I can't thank you all enough for coming on and for talking about it. Before we go, let's do our MVP of the reunion and our class clown of each reunion. This reunion. And I'll start with Mark.
My MVP, honestly, it's going to go to Damon. He's my MVP. He was the only one in that whole damn thing that made any sort of sense whatsoever. And the clown goes to Anila and her clown ass husband because I can't stand either one of them. Learn how to take care of your own damn children.
With that, Stephanie.
Did you say reunion or the season?
Let's do reunion. Okay,
so reunion. MVP is going to be Quad for standing in your mess, like I'm doing stuff to hurt you on period. Clown is definitely going to be Anila for me because I swear you act like you don't do anything, and it's like, girl, we have film. You are a clown.
I hear that. Reida.
I am gonna have to say. I mean, this is weird, but I will say Toya. I liked Toya at the reunion. I did. I thought she tried to turn it around for the husband.
And then continued to step in it again right after that.
But that's who she is. So you know what? She was who she was at the reunion. So I have to be like, I'm going to give it to her. I could also say the class clown was Toya too, because she turned around and stepped right in it like you said. So,
I love it.
I liked it. I liked it both sides.
She's giving what's it? Range. She's giving us range. We love it.
Exactly.
Elle.
I'm going to say that my MVP is Eugene, Dr. Eugene. I don't normally condone men talking to women the way that he spoke to Quad, but I felt like it was warranted. I felt like it was very clear. I don't feel like it was excessive. Stop talking about me. The anger delivered, but it wasn't, I'm trying to hurt you. You know what I mean? I feel like in his anger, I still feel like he was very cognizant of the fact that he was talking to a woman. And I like that. And I'm going to say that my clown was, I'm talking to Palm Breeze and Ocean Breeze. Like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, dang. I thought we were going to get by without talking about little Mr. Man and his song.
No, the clown was Lil Bow Wow himself. Dr.
Oh
Scott.
man.
Okay, what was that? Why did he make a song, and then why did he force us to listen? It was let me tell you what really solidified the clownness, and then I'll leave you guys with this. But it was, I'm talking what camera? I'm talking two pump. Like, sir, you don't even know what camera you're supposed to look into with this horrible ass song. Please go to hell. Like,
Please leave us alone. Do what other men do when they screw up. Get lockjaw and get like scuffed knees. We don't need no music.
Curtis didn't give you no pointers. I know Curtis didn't tell you to come out with no rap song. I know he didn't tell you to do that. He probably told you to buy your wife a house and build it whatever he liked. Like, take the notes and hush.
All right, and then Sneha.
So my MVP was Toya because she just says everything. Like, she has no filter. And in this era of like every housewife, like increasingly being so careful about what they say, like she just says her piece and she owns her personality. And we just need more people like that. And clown, obviously, Anila and her husband.
Nice. And actually my MVP was Eugene as well. I thought that he stood up for himself nicely. I love that he gave us the moment where he said it hurt him seeing Toya cry because she doesn't cry. And then, then later when he stood up for himself and that, he got that stuff said between them is okay sometimes, but not with other people. So he got my MVP. If I had to pick a wife, it would be Toya. And I've been Team Toya for a long time. I can't help it. Like you said, I think she screws up so much because she does forget that the camera's there. And I would rather take a housewife, a married to medicine person who screws up because they're not so conscious of their camera than having someone who is so conscious of their camera that they're always saying the right things and doing the right things. Like, I'll take a screw up any day. Yes. And then my clown was, and it kills me because I love Contessa, but Contessa and Scott. The Scott part of it doesn't kill me. The Contessa part does, only because she like brought so much smoke outside. And then she argued like a little bit inside, but I don't know, like I felt like we could have gotten more from her. But then Scott especially is my clown because your wife has been fighting with Heavenly and whoever else all season to try to plant you guys as being back to being okay. She's trying to deny the whole cheating thing, even though last season she said, well, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what anybody does.
You're clearly hinting at it. Only for your husband to come and make a rap that clearly says, like, didn't he have lines that was like, I screwed up, but blah, blah. Like, the rap said you cheated. Like, how are you going to come and out yourself after she just spent a whole season trying to defend you? Clown. Like, I can't.
Also a clown because they didn't turn the hot doc into anything. The hot doc was so freaking marketable for what she's doing in terms of being a housewife or a married to medicine wife with the spinoff. The fact that by the time the season wrapped, we didn't get any hot doc merch, like literally pick up the ball and drop it. Like,
right. Yeah. All right. But overall though, and we didn't even, I feel like there's barely anything. I feel bad not talking about Jackie and Curtis, but there wasn't really much to talk about. Though I do have to say, if I was Curtis, I would feel a certain type of way about the fact that for so long I had been asking my wife to leave work early, to come home early, to spend more time with the family. Now, finally, she's doing it because she has other projects she wants to work on. Now she's cutting back on the office so she can come home and work on all her other projects. I'd have something to say about it, but it's not my marriage. As long as they're happy, I'm happy for them because I do love them together. Well,
as long as they're not having any more stories in the blog and pretending that they have a perfect marriage, it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, thank you all again so much for joining. If you haven't caught up on previous episodes, there's lots of good stuff out there. I think today or this week I just released Everyone's a Villain. That was a good one. We talked about all the bad people in Bravo. So it's a good time. And thank you to everybody who joined. I'll include all the links. We don't have to go through the rounds of where to find it. I'll include all the links below and you all have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.